Today we have a satsang, and the first question is about fear of dying. Well, actually, when we deal with the fear of dying, pretty much immediately we are coming to the question, who am I? And okay, the very foundation of spirituality is self-inquiry. Okay, actually, what does it mean, self-inquiry? And the beginning is pretty much intellectual, as we spoke so many times. It's like, I am happy, I wish to be free from suffering, I wish to be even more happy, I want success, I am this, I am that, I want to experience enlightenment. Okay, and then this I am. And this I amness is the first step. When we start to notice behind each and every thought, feeling, plan, goals, desires, happiness and suffering, we start to notice this I amness. And then naturally our question is, who am I? And that is the beginning of self-inquiry. And my experience as the meditation master is that most of the people, they know this question just intellectually, but don't care about it at all. Most of the people, even when they come across with this philosophical question, they suppose that this is something outlandish, some great philosophy, Vedanta, which is very far from our life. And for most of the people, it's absolutely clear to have goals. By the way, for most of the people, even this is not clear. Most of the people just exist in this world like vegetables. And the most cool people, they start to set goals. And that's what I like myself. But Vedanta is something even outside or beyond that. When we are not discussing that I wish to be happy, I wish to be free from suffering, but who am I? Forget about your happiness and suffering, forget even about your, enlightenment, spiritual progress, just who are you? And basically, bunch of questions are born more or less intellectually, but sometimes not intellectually, sometimes because of any events in your life when something extremely good or extremely painful may happen, and then you start to think, okay, who am I? So for some people, by the way, even the beginning of this process is emotional, it's not intellectual one. But anyway, the core, the main point, the main process is meditation. And actually, okay, in our Kriya Yoga school we have something like 80 meditation techniques, huge number of bija mantras, and each meditation technique of Kriya Yoga must go together, okay, simultaneously with self-inquiry. But today we are speaking not actually about meditation in a classical way. Yes?
What does it mean when we practice in Kriyas? How to apply self-inquiry?
Okay, let us come to this question in a couple of minutes, because basically this satsang is about, okay, fear of dying. And so, of course, I may say that one of the best tools for the self-inquiry is exactly this fear of dying. And it's not in a classical way meditation, but it's anyway tool. Okay, we as the separate existing human beings as, in a sense, animals, because we're not only angels, we're not only divine, but we're also animals, because we have physical body. Okay, and we have an instinct for survival, and this instinct may function in many ways, like, okay, to produce children and to protect them. Whatever it may cost you, parents protect children. Okay, survival means just danger for my life. What does it mean for my life? It means for my physical body. If something bad happened somewhere, my instinct will take me from this place and I'll just run away from here. If something dangerous may happen just, okay, let us say in 5 minutes. And this is natural, and we don't need to struggle. I don't believe that any sage or any saint will say, oh, who cares, like, let me die. I mean, if you die because of great idea, okay, you die for Christianity, okay, great, you'll be saint. But just to die for nothing, no saint agree. Okay, but better, yeah. And the point is,
I think Indians from America said that when you die in fight, it's a good death.
In what? When you die?
In fight.
Oh, in fight. Okay, it depends on what kind of fight. I mean, like Arjuna with the bad guys, then you're a hero and that's cool. But, okay, anyway, instinct is there and that is natural. We don't need to fight with natural stuff. I mean, we want to have a good health. Okay, we need some food to survive. We have to protect our children. But you know, at the same time, it may sound, okay, anyway, it's logical that one day we'll die. It may happen today, it may happen in 10 years, it may happen, okay, let us say in 100 years. If we are going to practice Qigong and Hatha Yoga properly, then in 100 years, maybe we'll die. But anyway, one day we'll die. And then the question is, what is the difference between to die today, to die in 10 years, or maybe in 50 years? What is the difference? And actually, according to my opinion, let us say, that fear of death is really fear of improperly spent time in this life. If your life is not proper, if you don't know your life purpose, if you are living meaningless life, then somewhere deep inside you, your soul, which is, okay, incarnated in this physical body, then the feeling is unsatisfaction, that if I'll die now means I was born for nothing. But if you have life purpose, and if you already achieve at least something on this way, I mean creativity, life purpose, what in English we say to be self-actualized, at least in some sense, then it's much easier to say goodbye, hallelujah. And let me repeat again, it doesn't mean that even self-actualized people, I'm sure they have this instinct of, protection and survival. But at the same time, everything is much more easy. Because if you know that you already done a lot of things connected with your life purpose, with your mission in this life, then it's much easier inside your soul to experience satisfaction and to be complete. Because the point is, anyway, today, tomorrow, in 10 years and 50 years, anyway, we'll die. But what is the point? The point is, if your life is creative, then you may easily say, okay, this part of performance is over, goodbye, I have to go. Next time I'll come next year as a baby and restart all that wonderful journey to self-inquiry, creativity, etc. But for those people who are not, because there are many people who don't know their life purpose, or if they know, they don't know how to fulfill it. That's the.
So maybe good question in that sense for self-inquiry will be: am I ready to die now, this moment?
You see, actually, self-inquiry is the next step. Because now I spoke only about to be self-actualized, to be, happy regarding your life purpose, life mission. But the self-inquiry is a totally different question, because it's like already purely spiritual one. And, okay, maybe we'll speak about self-inquiry and meditation next time, but this time self-inquiry and fear of dying. You have flight, whatever, from London to New Delhi, from Berlin to New York, and then something happened, maybe bad weather, maybe something wrong with the engine for a while. And then immediately you start to think, okay, now no chance. That can be the end of my life. And what is extremely important, if we wish to discuss this, maybe minutes, or sometimes it can be seconds. Better to use this as the chance for self-inquiry. Because if you sit peacefully in your wonderful apartment, if you sit somewhere in the restaurant, on the beach, you walk down the street, or you are visiting a wonderful museum, art museum, it's very difficult to speak about, okay, who is dying? Am I dying? It's just intellectual game. But if you're in the car, which is nearly, or maybe you're in the flight, which is nearly collapsing, or maybe something like that again, then it's the point of self-inquiry, which is really huge. And by the way, you may practice meditation for years, and you may think that you are a great yogi, but the moment flight is shaking, then immediately you have so huge fear, and that's the indication that your meditation is actually not deep enough. So it means if something happened, some danger for your life, maybe not immediately, maybe in 5 seconds, maybe in a couple of minutes, but better to start self-inquiry exactly when danger is there. You don't need to run to that danger. Okay, better to run if possible. In a flight, not possible. In a street, possible. If something bad happened, that part of the street, you may just turn and go opposite direction. And then think, okay, I have fear, I experience fear. Well, I'm practicing meditation for years, and now I have fear of dying. What does it mean? Who is dying? Am I ready? Okay, let us put it in a more Christian way. Am I ready to meet God? Or am I ready to, for that journey beyond death of the physical body? Maybe attachment, maybe unsatisfaction, many breakthrough experiences may happen, because you may just analyze your emotion and come to conclusion that you're good for nothing as a meditation practitioner, and then okay, then what I have to change in my meditation to become one. Or maybe you can say, wow, I have fear of dying because I'm not living my life properly. Then what the hell? I have to change many things in my life. You know, such a great breakthrough experiences may happen if you analyze this huge fear, which is great tool. Actually, it's very helpful. And then please do not forget that ideas, that huge understandings which may happen in your consciousness, because it's easy to say, okay, now 1 hour later, dangerous situation is no more. Okay, let us forget and live the same stupid, borrowed, meaningless life. Do not forget this fear and that breakthrough understanding. So you have to change whatever, meditation, prayer, to be creative. I don't know, to just, that's personal. So that's the reason why fear of death is also spiritual. It's huge tool which is helpful for the breakthrough experiences.